Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Derek from the Addiction and Recovery Talk. Um, I got a new co-host, and just want to let you guys know my old co-host, my first ex-wife. She cannot longer do this. She has job obligations. She can't do it. But we wish her well. And luckily for me, I have another ex-wife, and she's in recovery too. And her name is Virginia.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Addiction and Recovery Talk. We're both in recovery, and we're inviting you on this journey with us. Especially, our goal is to really get into some real stuff about our lives and our journey and the beauty of how you can come out on the other side. Like we're true walking miracles. Really, I look at it that way. A little bit about me. I'm from Cherry Hill originally, and I met Derek in the rooms. And I just want to say, it's real important. I go into this with real positive energy, and I know a lot of times we like to talk, and this isn't like battle of the ex-wives. Liz is my sister in recovery, and we're very cordial. We have a very caring relationship towards each other and our children. So, this is just about my story and where we're at now, so we can inspire and hopefully uplift people. If you're in a dark place right now, just hang on. Please subscribe and like too, because we need the support. This is a pandemic. It's killing people out there right now. Yeah. So Derek and I met in the rooms. It was like they say that if something's supposed to happen in life, it's supposed to happen. And I was initially communicating with somebody else, his now sponsor, George. I'm sorry.
Boz. It's okay.
Boz, okay. And I'm sure Boz don't mind. Boz loves talking
He's been my friend since I was 13. He's like an older brother to me. He's got 32 years. He's the one that introduced me to NA. I got 29 years.
I was actually, Boz was talking about, he has a bunch of nieces and nephews, and I was trying to, help out by basically saying I have a lot of kids stuff. And I walked up to him, and he's like, you're talking about the other guy. But I was trying to actually communicate with him, and it just ended up turning into, we started dating. And I remember I was real, complexed about his family life and his personal life, because I was like, wait a minute, you got how many kids? And that didn't scare me. But I knew that at the time they were not residing with him, and he was a little broken about that,
Yeah, when you met me, they were visiting.
That's right.
It was around Christmas time. They were visiting from Georgia because they were living with my parents, and they came to visit for Christmas, and
I did Giovanna's hair, remember?
Well, this is what happened. brung them to the meetings. We went to Ponzio's after the meeting.
Yeah.
And we had a good time there and everything. You took my daughters to get wash their hands and all that kind of stuff like that. And then after the meeting, you invited us to come to your house. No.
No? Okay.
You can't, just to so the kids to play and all that stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know, because I'm a Dolphins fan, and I wanted to watch the game.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And you was like, look, I got a TV,
I got 3 flat screens, I remember that.
I was like, all right. And so the kids were like, looking at me like, come on, Dad, let's go, let's go. So we went over there, and that was the beginning.
I remember, Libby had this, she was so small, and my daughter at the time that was residing with me, I had an older daughter that was not residing with me, but her father, and getting ready to go off to school. but my baby, I called her my baby, and Libby were the same age, so that was, you know, a connect. But yeah, so we you know, and you know, as women, we know if like you want to bond with a, you know, a person, like, and a man has a daughter, you know, like, you know, it's like, oh, let me do her hair, you know, and I knew I was like, you know, I was in then after I did G's hair, because G was all happy and stuff, so it was a good, we had a good time.
Yep.
Didn't always stay like that. We'll get into that. It got quite crazy, you know. We
got married after knowing each other for 8 months.
yeah, we were. It was like a marathon, you know.
Yeah.
And
but as far as my side of it goes, my kids were living in Georgia with my parents. I started Dayton, Virginia, and Virginia was very supportive of me getting my kids back, and we were talking about like, well, if you get your kids back, I'll help you, and blah blah blah. So that was huge, because I really wanted my kids back, you know what I mean. And then on your side, you can only tell what was your motivation.
Yeah. I think what I want everybody to really know before we get into
the great sex, right?
No,
because I'm fully good.
I'm blushing. I was really broken at the time. Like I was very big on putting on appearances, and I had, you know, I had the education, I had the job, I had that. I climbed my way back up from, you know, like using and cammed into getting back to being a professional, like working, but I was broken. I wasn't working on myself at all. And in many ways, I felt like, looking back, Derek had a lot of time. I think he had like 14 years.
I had 14 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, but he was working on a lot of like painful issues. I don't really want to say what it is, but
it's an open book. It is what it is.
And sometimes two broken people can sometimes try to connect to fix those wounds. And we make a suggestion: take your time and work on yourself. But I know everything that happened has led me to the woman I am today, you know. But yeah, so moving things forward, I got him to relocate from Roxborough to Cherry Hill, because at the time I had a home there, so he rented out his home. And we just threw all the kids together, not even thinking like
what's gonna happen.
It was really good intentions. We were like thinking the Brady Bunch, and I'm not saying we didn't have good days, because we did have some good days, but you know.
Was it what was that movie? Remember The War of the Roses?
The War of the Roses.
We didn't go a week without a battle. It was crazy.
Yeah. And you know, Derek's a big guy. He's you know, strong and fit. He's one of the fittest people I've ever met in my life. Very into health and fitness. Always has been. You know, he can be intimidating, but you know, don't get it twisted. I was a fighter too. You know, like I didn't fall back. I wasn't one of those timid women. You know.
War of the Roses.
Yeah,
Rent that movie. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I grew up with you know, a lot of dysfunction in my family. You know, and I was already predispositioned genetically for addiction. My father was a very, they call a functional alcoholic, which is an oxymoron. My mother, you know, she died in her old age, but she was, you know, always on pills. Both of them were functioning, I say I was screwed the day I came out, because genetically wise, and then you take an environment that's dysfunctional with abuse, and I grew up with a lot of things that I've survived, sexual abuse, things that have made me really powerful today in being an advocate and speaking out on, you know, women, just the strength that we have. But our backgrounds were different. Like I went off to college, and I actually married a professional athlete right after that, and I lived like the glam life, and was in with the pros and this, traveling the world, living in a $500,000 home with a maid, and Gucci, Louis, all that. That was
bougie.
Real. Still got some of it today,
Yeah.
but I it's my own. I carry it. And so, I think how long were we residing together?
Well, we moved in on my birthday, actually.
Was it?
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is what happened. We started dating December of 2008, and we dove right in. My kids went back after Christmas, and we was hanging together all the time, every free moment we had for the next. And then we decided to make that big step along the way. And then by June, I had set it up to rent my place out. They were going to move in July 15th. My parents drove my kids up from Georgia the day before my birthday. So I stayed at your house, woke up in the morning on my birthday to get the kids and bring them back. And then they basically, that was it.
Yeah.
I had 3 kids. My son, who is my son from he's not my biological son.
He's actually Liz's biological son.
Right.
So.
And my 2 daughters, Giovanna and Olivia. And we moved in on my birthday. And we actually lived together for 3 years, but it was a tough 3 years.
It was.
It ended like, I got to tell the truth because.
Oh well, it was ugly. Like we're going to lead up to some. If you want drama, you want to talk about drama.
We had a lot of drama, but I'm embarrassed, but it is the truth. It ended in domestic violence, and I got arrested. And after that, I decided it's time for me to leave because it got to that point. We'll get to that. But I owned up to it, and I apologize. And that's not really my makeup, but.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like that was not the ingredient of the chaos as far as like he was not a physically abusive person.
There was a lot of hollering and screaming.
There was a lot of verbal abuse.
Yeah.
A lot of ugly, very hurtful things said, and always going for that quick fix the next day. We were all like, of course, inherently you're going to be concerned about your children, and I think the moment of clarity was when we were having a fight. And this, let me just tell you where anger can take you. It started, I remember, over one of the kids, and I had told one of the kids to do something, and because Derek was really stewing about something, I don't know if you remember this, he thought I was being impartial. And we got to going at it, and like I said, I don't back down. I fight. I'm like Color Purple. I had to fight in my own house. I gave it just as much as I got it verbally. In fact, I think I was a little more vicious verbally. This
chick right here, boy, seriously, she's vicious with the words, and I'm good too. I mean, it was. She didn't back down.
Yeah, he was like Thor in the house when he got mad.
When I used to go nuts.
And I have epilepsy, and what happened was we were having a fight one time, and
I remember that.
And what happened was we were going back and forth, and actually, and I till this day I will say I don't think Derek intentionally went to go headbutt me. We were going back and forth, and because he wasn't trying to just
I did.
Okay.
I wanted to punch you.
Right, but he just figured he'd headbutt.
But it was like a reaction, and
I went into a seizure.
She went to a seizure, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And
you called George.
I called my buddy George because I knew I was going to have this serious talk with her about, stuff with the kids, but I knew it was a possibility that she would take it and then she would go right to rage and start going off on me. Mm-hmm. And I have a problem handle. I would say I don't still have that problem, but I used to.
No.
I had a serious anger problem. So.
We both had a lot. We were broken.
So we were going back and forth. The kids, my two kids, came in the room because they were like, she was like, get your
Libby
dad, your
jumped
dad's
on your
crazy.
back, yeah.
My youngest daughter jumped on my back.
Get off of her.
My other daughter grabbed my arm trying to get me out. I was so mad. I was telling them to get the hell off. I was cursing. I was like, get the F off of me, blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, Dad. I was like, all right. They got me out of the room. I says, all right, I'm good. They stopped. I went back in the room and I had my hand cocked, so I wanted to hit her, but I was like, I can't hit her. And this reaction, I headbutted her. So I headbutted you. You went straight down and went into a grand mal seizure. Now I'm like, holy shit.
And I'm not coming out, according to him.
And so I called my man, told him what happened. He was like, bring up the phone and call 911. So I was like, all right. So I hung up the phone. I called 911. So the thing about it was, she's epileptic. So they've been to our house before because of her having seizures. She used to have seizures, but every once in a while she would have a grand mal. Mm-hmm. Not all the time, but enough where they came to the house like 2 or 3 times. And when they came, it was like almost like they're used to coming because she has these seizures. The first thing, the cop came. I was scared to death. My voice was cracking because I had been screaming, and
And he just kept, he kept looking. I'll never forget that cop. He kept looking at me and he kept saying, okay, what happened now? and at the time, because of the kids, I didn't want to send them to jail because I was, I had a very big bond with his youngest. Mm-hmm. And we bonded very closely. And the 2 youngest were with me a lot. Derek bonded more with his oldest daughter. And
the paramedics came. And then
all over anger.
When they came, they was treating you and they said they wanted to take you. You didn't want to go, so they said you got to sign this and that, because it was like it was almost like it was nothing new, but I think that cop kind of felt something.
The cop has,
because he kept questioning you.
He kept saying, well, I know you had a seizure, but was there something that preceded it that may have caused you? Because that's just as being responsible. And I almost went there, but I kept thinking about these poor kids. Mm-hmm. These poor kids, like, I don't want to do this. So what happened was, I know that was really just a rude awakening, and I got to get to this part before this episode is over. So, you got to be careful the suggestions you take from people, because things had calmed down and we had decided to go.
Let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
After that, I think the next day or a day or two, I told you that I wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And I said, look, this is crazy. Now, this is just too much, blah, blah, blah. Because I felt like it came to violence. Now, it might start happening. I don't want to go through this. I wanted to stay there until the school year was over.
Right.
I said, I'll pay everything, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll be looking to get a place of my own with the kids, and we'll be out by September. And then you can take it from there.
And then, we're living in this house together after this serious tension. And kids are, just like, imagine the emotional stability of children. So, like, I look back on it now, like, I remember the biggest thing I ever wanted to feel when I was growing up in my house is I wanted to feel safe in my own home, and I never felt safe. As a young woman, a female child, there's nothing more important for any child to feel safe. But, I reflected and I thought about my daughter, and I just said to myself, man, I got to do something. But it was a mess, and then I knew he was looking for a place, but I had no clue what was coming. Tell him, D.
What happened was you were getting a lot of suggestions because I'm a real open dude, so I was going to the meetings and sharing about what I did, which was stupid, because I basically am sharing about committing a crime. But I wanted to get this off my chest because I felt so bad about it. And a lot of women were saying to you, "Oh, I'll go to court with you. I'll testify against him." Blah blah blah, and they were encouraging you to put the police on me. And then you ended up doing that, and
I wasn't going to, but I remember I knew he was up to something. I knew he was, and I was trying to stay one step ahead of him. So you see, like, all this selfishness in this. Like, I look back, it was about like our battle, and the kids were smack dead in the middle of this. And these are just young kids. Like, so anybody out here, these are young kids.
Yeah.
And so I just know that one day after, my sponsor came over, and she said to me, you know, you need to get a restraining order. And I remember saying, I don't want to do that because of the kids. And she said, you know, you have a right to protect your daughter. But moving forward, I went to the police station, got the restraining order. And when he came home that day, they arrested him and removed him from the home. And, you know, I'm trying to stay clean. I'm trying to raise my children, and
the crazy part is, like she said, I was up to something. I had found a house to get, but the crazy part is the house was straight across the street. Directly, but it was like available, and it was just like right there, and it was just like I had to make a decision.
We lived in like a cul-de-sac community, and all I know is my daughter's looking outside the window that day, and she says, why is Derek and them walking into that house across the street?
This is what happened. I got arrested on a Monday. I was trying to be cool with her because I was supposed to be moving in that Friday, but you know, one day she would be nice, next day she would be angry, and it was just like, oh man, I just got to make it till Friday. I didn't make it till Friday. I got arrested on a Monday. I sent the kids to somebody's house because I called them, asked the police, because when the police came to get me, I'm trying to talk my way out of it. And then at the end of the day, I said, look, am I getting arrested? They were like, yeah, we got to take you. I said, all right, can I make a call? So somebody came and got my kids. I went to jail, and then I got out, and then I went to I stayed at a hotel until Friday. Now, she didn't know, what I was doing. Maybe she felt it, whatever. But then that Friday, we had a house right across the street. So it was just,
and it's,
a lot of chaos and drama. But I never went back to live with her after that. And it took us about a year to get divorced. But then, it was like the Hatfields and the McCoys for a while. And then I think we ended up being friendly again at some point.
Oh yeah, I lost a lot. I lost a lot of weight, and I would walk to the mailbox prancing in like my little Daisy Dukes, like.
Yeah, we ended up being friends again.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? So we hung out, and we hung out a couple times. Then I'll never forget. The reason, I was trying to, it just dawned on me why I left that. I ended up selling that house, with my new family and moving to another area because I couldn't do it. It was just unhealthy. But another reason is my and I think we'll close with this, and we'll maybe go on the next episode. Derek knows that my oldest daughter, Moet, had overdosed upstairs in the bedroom in that home. And so I had that, and then I had, him across the street, and I just said, I gotta get out of here, and so, yeah.
And I was close to Moet.
Yeah,
I helped her move her senior year. She went to Temple. She graduated from there. I helped her move into an apartment with her friends. Me and her were close.
Yeah.
So that's what got us talking again.
I think that
exactly what happened, because that was devastating. That was devastating. I'm getting a little misty myself right now. That was just heartbreaking. And I guess we could end on that. You know what I mean? But You know, I guess y'all could tell I've had a lot of drama and chaos and stuff in my life.
And we and the what I want to really enforce is that on this journey, we want to get to where, you know, we are in such a good place in our lives, healing, forgiveness, but there's a lot we just want to share because somebody may be able to relate. But you know, we're entrepreneurs now, and I have a beautiful family, you know, but it's just a lot of steps in between. But I mean, whew, I'm just getting worked up listening to it because I know we'll pick up maybe next episode, but I guess we touched on a lot today about, you know, just domestic violence, the chaos, broken people trying to fix themselves through another person.
Yeah.
And most importantly, our legacies, our children caught in the midst of all this, and how, you know, which I wouldn't say all of them are doing well today, but it you know, except for Moet that had passed away, and she's I believe in a place of peace, you know, but I'm looking forward next week to picking up, and you know, if you're hanging on by the thread of your pants, just hold on. If you think you're going to use, don't. And we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.